What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a statement, and then I'll take a few questions. But we're very preliminary in the investigation, so I'll have to limit it to just a few questions. A Gastonia police officer fatally shot a Gastonia man Thursday night or last night. The incident occurred around 10:52 p.m. in the 2000 block of Pine Drive near South Marietta Street. Detective Scott Barnes, along with other officers, were dispatched to this location to search for a suspect after a victim arrived at Gaston Memorial Hospital with stab wounds. Upon his arrival, Detective Barnes observed a Terry Adam Boone, age 20, of 2122 South Marietta, in the process of stabbing another individual. Mr. Boone ignored the detective's commands, and he made an aggressive move towards the officer, and the officer fired one shot, fatally wounding Mr. Boone. Thus far in the investigation, we've determined that Mr. Boone has stabbed 4 people prior to being stopped by the detective, and we are in the process of conducting 2 investigations, which is standard protocol: an internal investigation conducted by us, the Gastonia Police Department, and also a investigation by the State Bureau of Investigation on the criminal side. A police officer is authorized to use deadly force when he reasonably believes it's necessary to use such force to defend himself or a third person who is using or intimately using the deadly force against another. Or he's also able to use deadly force to effect the arrest or to prevent the escape from custody a person who he reasonably believes is attempting to escape by means of a deadly weapon, or who by his conduct or by any other means indicates that he presents an imminent threat of death or serious physical injury to others unless apprehended without delay. Detective Barnes is 39 years of age. He is a distinguished veteran with this police department. He's been serving since September of 1990, and he has been placed on administrative duty, which is standard policy. And I'll take any questions.
I heard sounds like almost you read the law, and know what that means by law. What does that mean for Chief Soap as he stands here in this position, having to read what you've just read?
Well, an officer has to make split-second decisions, and decisions are based upon common sense, reason, and logic. And it basically means that if a person is threatening another individual or is threatening the officer themselves, the officer has a right to defend that other person or himself. And certainly if there's a circumstance where it's reasonable to believe that if that individual is not apprehended, he will injure other people seriously or actually potentially kill them, then certainly he is authorized to use deadly force under those circumstances as well. So, that's right.
Can you tell us who the 4 victims are and the conditions?
We will give you a handout that will have their names on. There's one that we have not yet identified. We have a name, but we really haven't talked to that individual yet. But you will have that information before you leave.
And their condition?
Most of the 3, I believe, have been treated and released. Is that right, Jim?
Yes.
Anything on the 4th one?
No, the individual showed up at the hospital. I believe the injuries were fairly serious, but left from the hospital without, we just don't know where he went to.
So he showed up and left on his own?
Yes.
Did he sign out? You know, if he signed out on his own?
The hospital was unable to tell us.
Really?
Can you talk about that neighborhood in general? Because we talked to some neighbors out there that lived there for years and said there's a lot of problems out there: crime, prostitution, drugs, and that house specifically had, you know, a lot of crack, cocaine going in and out. Have you gotten that far into it, and what can you say to those neighbors that are concerned about what's going on in the neighborhood?
Most of the crimes that we have in that area are property crimes. There are very few violent crimes that are associated in that area. We do have in that 10-block radius some drug problems. Specific to that address, to be honest with you, I can't tell you. That's part of the investigation that we're looking at. Anything else?
Any idea why this man's?
We're certainly looking at that. It is quite puzzling. This is a little bizarre behavior. It's very unusual, certainly, to have 4 individuals stabbed. The chain of events is, of course, the individual goes to the hospital that has been stabbed and reports the injury, and then the officer responds along with others, and then this individual actually has another individual on the ground, stabs him. A female comes up and tries to assist that individual being stabbed. She ends up getting stabbed, and then there is another individual that is actually on the ground being stabbed when the officer pulls up. So motive is something we're certainly looking at. The investigation hopefully will reveal some things in those areas.
And do you think it could be drug related at this point? Because the neighbor we talked to said that police have been called out there multiple times.
That would be purely speculation and inappropriate for me to comment on this time. Again, the State Bureau of Investigation is conducting the criminal investigation. We want a independent investigation in that light, but we're also conducting an internal investigation to look at if the administrative policies were followed, but also training, equipment, that type of thing are covered, and make sure that we are appropriately addressing those issues. And the last thing that I'd like to close on is that there are no winners here. It's a tragedy for the families that are involved, those that have been stabbed, those, the family members of the deceased, and our hearts and prayers go out to all of them. Thank y'all.